Any young man who starts his self-improvement journey is likely to go through a period of sustained unknown, not knowing exactly where he belongs. This young man has two options. He can go back to where he was before. He can go back with the boys from school, go out for beers on the weekend, get back with his girlfriend who he doesn't even like, doesn't respect, go back to a job he hates, and he can seek a very pleasure-seeking life. Or he can go down the other path. He can keep going down a path of uncertainty, figuring it all out, not knowing exactly what and where he is aiming for, making progression and looking around at the people around him and just thinking, why is everyone else not doing the same thing as me? This chapter could be virtually anyone from the age of 18 to 25 or even 30 years old. This has been me, and I would say it still is to some degree. And I don't think it is likely that you will be able to navigate your journey of self-development, finding yourself, going from kind of a state of mediocrity to something actually that you wanted to achieve in your life without going through this chapter. So I think the best thing you can do is position yourself very well so that when you come out of this chapter of your life, you're in a very good position to kick on and get to where you want to be. You don't want this chapter to be any longer drawn out than necessary because it's already a sustained period. As I mentioned, it could be 1 year for you, it could be 3 years, it could be 5 years. It probably depends exactly when you start your journey. There's 16-year-olds on self-improvement, maybe you're one of them, which is crazy, by the way. I think being 16 and being on self-improvement, I have a lot of respect for that, but yeah, it kind of shows the state of the world and society we're living in this day. But if you are around this age, 18, 19, it's likely going to be a few years of you kind of not really knowing. You have your kind of friends from school and you start going to the gym and they laugh at you and think, why is he doing this? He doesn't need to do this. We're not doing it. Why doesn't he just come into town with the boys, have a few beers, go to the clubs, do all of that shit? And I've done that anyway. I've done that myself, and it wasn't fulfilling. It was never me. It's never what I really wanted to do, but I followed the crowd. I wanted to fit in, and I'm sure you feel like this. We all go through this period. We all want to fit in. We're tribal creatures. It's natural for us to feel like this. But we all kind of have this thing in the back of our minds. We're just different to the ordinary people out there that just are okay with living like this. And there's nothing wrong with these people at all. It's fine to live along those lines. It's fine to live that life if that's authentic to you, if that's your goal, to kind of live that lifestyle of just working your job and going out on the weekend and living that kind of, like, you know, it can be a great life for a lot of people. But I know for me, and I know for you probably watching this, that's not going to get you out of bed in the morning. That's not going to be, at the end of the day, you're not going to look back and be like, you know, I really enjoyed my day and I've tried to live that lifestyle, and you probably have too, and it's not. So you have to go through this period where everyone else around you isn't doing the things you want to do. Everyone doesn't want to do what you want to do. Like, it's a weekend today, and you know, I'd much prefer to be spending it with a girl or something, or traveling to a nice city over the weekend and doing something, you know, going for coffee, going for nice food, doing that type of thing. Whereas a lot of people around my age would prefer to go for drinks, go to the clubs, chase women, doing a lot of other things that would have no appeal in my life whatsoever. And you probably can relate to this, because I know there's a large group of young guys and young women even that feel the same way, that a lot of people around them aren't doing the things that they want to do anymore, and they kind of want to break free from that, but they don't want to leave their old friends, and they don't really have anyone else to go to. But the only option is for you to go through this journey alone for the time being. And like I say, there's that uncertainty, and we don't like that uncertainty. As human beings, we want to have everything figured out. We want to have an end goal. When is this going to end? It's like I could push you underwater and give you, say, 3 minutes. You would hold your breath for 3 minutes. If I push you underwater and just said hold your breath for as long as you can, like, that's a lot worse, and you'd end up struggling, because there's that uncertainty that it might never really end. You just have to know that you will come back out of the water, you will push your head back up and have a better life after that. And I think that's something that you have to remember, is that it will end, and you have to be on that journey and be enjoying the journey every single day, I think, to go through that uncertainty, because I get it, it's not nice. There's days where I myself think and turn back and be like, maybe I should just do those other things, and maybe that's good enough for me. But I know deep down there's a lot more that I want, and there's a lot more I can achieve. So it's unfair to myself to live this lifestyle. So how exactly could you position yourself? You might feel right now that you are on the brink of a better life. You are on the brink of kind of breaking through the ceiling, so to speak. You've kind of hit a ceiling with your current life, that your current environment, the current people around you, and you're kind of like, I know I'm there. I'm like really pushing. I'm doing a lot of things that other people aren't doing, but I'm just kind of like not seeing the kind of outputs in my life that I would really expect with the work I'm putting in. And as I explained previously, there's always a lag in time that will mean that you won't see the results from the work you're putting in till 3 months, 6 months, even a year later down the line. So for me, in my whole journey, the biggest thing has been mindset, and changing my mindset from a very negative mindset, thinking the worst, thinking how life was so unfair, and that I was just depressed, and that I should just accept that. I actually had that mindset. You might think that's extreme, but I honestly thought I was depressed, and it wasn't my fault. It was completely out of my control. I always thought like that, but I completely changed my mindset. Everything's in my control, and you have to change this mindset to being a negative one to a positive one. I know it's not easy. I'm not just saying, you can do this overnight. It takes meditation on this to truly figure out that person you need to become for a better life, and changing that mindset and your beliefs also are going to be the key catalyst to a better life. You have to change this. If you're holding on to beliefs that have been pushed onto you from your parents, from society, from social media, you've been conditioned this way, and most likely we all have. I've been there, and it's still taking me time to kind of reprogram my own mind and hold on to beliefs that actually better my life. And a lot of us don't have that, unfortunately. We hold on to the beliefs, and a lot of people, we all kind of live the same lives our parents have lived, and we don't really go on to achieve anything more because we've been conditioned in a way to believe a set script and we should follow that, and to go out of line is risky, and we don't know what's there on the other side. But I've learned through years of being on self-improvement from this journey that there is more to life, and I want to live a certain type of lifestyle. I don't want to be like a lot of people around here. That's why we get onto self-improvement. That's why you're watching this video. That's why I made this channel. That's why I find strength in other influencers that have achieved more from the kind of status quo lifestyle. And another thing that I would highly recommend that you do is that you got to put yourself out there. You got to put yourself out there with older people, or even people around you that maybe you see them and they're like, you know what, he's actually doing really well. I would quite like to be on his level, whatever that may be. Maybe in terms of his fitness progress, maybe in terms of, his career, his finances, or he might have a really good relationship. Whether that be in an intimate relationship, or he's got a really good set of circles. You always kind of see him around the gym, you see him out and about, and he's having a laugh with his friends, and you're like, you know what, that guy must have something that I don't, so maybe I should go spend some time with him. That's something that I've kind of learned. Just drop the ego and be like, this person can actually offer me something in my life. This person can, we are all selfish creatures, and you have to accept that is the case, and you kind of have to look at it and be like, what can this guy kind of teach me? What can I gain from spending time with this person? Because that's what we all do. If we didn't feel that way, we wouldn't spend time with anyone. And whether you think that's true, whether you want to admit that it is, you wouldn't want to spend time. You wouldn't choose to spend time with someone who drains from your life, who offers negative into your life. There must be something there that you kind of feel like that. So I would highly recommend trying to find people, especially a bit older than you, who maybe the next step on from you. You can get this through coaching if you can't find it in your personal life, but obviously I think if you can find those people in your personal life that you can spend one-on-one time with, or even in a group, and kind of gain like real world experience from, then that would be majorly beneficial to your life. And I think you'll have a lot better conversations, because they're going to be on a different wavelength. Say if this guy's 35, 40, or a woman, or whoever it may be, they're going to have better conversations. It's not going to be all about, just getting drunk and having like kind of silly conversations that you don't even want to talk about. You're going to feel a lot better having those conversations, and you're going to learn so much that it's going to be worth its weight in gold. And over time, you'll really start to appreciate that. That's something I've learned from spending time with older people, or even people around my age who are just ahead of the game for whatever reason, that that there are quite a few people that I've learned, who I've met of, obviously from my journey. They've seen what I've done, I've seen what they've done, and naturally we're going to be attracted to each other because we're both on this same journey. And you can find those people, they're out there, and it's going to take time, and you have to accept that. It's being persistent and it's being patient, which is the key thing that a lot of people don't have in this uncertain journey. And then you've just got to cut and significantly reduce all these activities and habits that you used to do with your old friends that aren't offering you anything to your life, whatever your goals may be. I'm not saying you have to have a set way of goals, whether that be fitness, your career, your relationships, everything that you want in life. You have to be clear to what you want and find activities, find habits that will actually be beneficial to that. And if they're not, you have to cut those things out of your life, because they're not going to get you that person, that your future self. You're not going to associate with those activities and those bad habits that you used to do anymore. So you need to cut them out, because people who are on that level already, if you see what I mean, they're not going to want to associate with that. And you've got to prepare yourself, like you've got to feel and believe that you are worthy of being that level. You've got to feel it inside of yourself. That's a big way of how law of attraction all works. You have to feel it and believe that you are ready for that level. You're already at that level now. And hopefully that will truly change your life and get you through this kind of lonely chapter that we all go through. And I know it's very difficult. So hopefully this video has been of some value to you. And if it has, I'd really appreciate your feedback. Leave a like and subscribe to this channel. I know it's a very difficult journey for a lot of young men. It's become harder and harder as time's gone on. There's a lot of vices. There's a lot of distractions out there. There's a lot of very poor advice. So yeah, to try and stay clear of all that. I know I do, and I know I get dragged into it sometimes, but yeah, if you can stay clear of that and navigate it and hopefully use some of this advice practically, you will have a better life, and hopefully you can get to that next stage, wherever that is for you, and you can live that life that you've always desired, whatever that may be. Like I say, that's down to you. If you need any more help, especially on your mindset and your beliefs, which I know is the biggest thing that I really struggled with when I was younger, that I really could have done with when I was 18, 19 years old, my one-to-one personal coaching link will be below, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.